Good afternoon. If I was to ask everyone here to close their eyes and think about how they would exit if there was an emergency in this building right now, can you picture the closest exit? Are you thinking about the way you came in? Human nature dictates that we try to leave the way we entered. So what I want to tell you about today is a quick overview of fire prevention and just give you 4 examples of major fires with large losses of life that led to changes in the laws that govern fire prevention. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Michael Lynch. I've been with the Sarasota County Fire Department for 10 years. I am a Charge Medic, Instructor 1, Fire Officer 1, and a whole list of certifications. I have an associate's degree in emergency medicine. I am 1 class away from my degree in fire science, and 11 classes away from my ultimate goal, which is a degree in fire administration. So fire has been around since the earth has been here. It started in the form of volcano eruptions or lightning strikes. The first documented use of fire as a tool goes back to about 900 BC, according to History.com. And man discovered that he could use it for cooking, for heat, for light. But with that came unintentional fires, when fire got out of control. The earliest documented fire prevention efforts were after Rome burned down in 64 AD. Emperor Nero passed laws stating that buildings had to be a certain distance apart, so if one did catch fire, the whole city didn't burn down again, and they had to be made of non-flammable material, aka stone. Since then, fire prevention laws have changed considerably. The basic concept of fire prevention uses the 3 E's. And this is in the textbook that I'm using now by James Crawford, Fire Prevention Organization and Management, but it's universally accepted in every textbook, the concept of education, enforcement, and engineering. So an example of engineering would be sprinklers. The little sprinkler head, that little red thing gets hot enough, it breaks and water starts coming out. It's a very technical field, determining how many of these have to be installed, how far apart, how much water comes out of them, and it all depends on the size of the building, the type of material being protected. One problem with these is that if they're designed for a warehouse that holds paper and they go out of business and a tire warehouse moves in, these are not going to be effective if there's a fire in a powerful tires. Another example would be drywall. The material is tested to see how it will withstand a fire, and even your electrical outlets. So engineering is in everything that we see and touch now, basically, to make it safer for us. The second E is education. In education, we start with them in kindergarten with stop, drop, and roll, fire drills in the home, we call it EDIT, and smoke detector awareness, changing your batteries. And we've now moved on to an all-risk prevention, not just fire. Making sure children wear bike helmets, risk prevention or fall prevention for senior citizens. The last E is enforcement. You can pass all the laws you want. If people don't follow them, they're useless. And many of the fires I'm going to talk about in the next couple of minutes, there were laws in place that were ignored. So each one of these things I'm going to tell you about, we could go into it for an hour. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of these 4 incidents that led to changes. So the first one is going to be the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, which happened in March 25th, 1911 in New York City. This book, So Others May Live, by James Galway, is an excellent historic document for how this fire changed New York City's fire codes. It had a long-lasting effect on the city. 146 people died, almost solely young women that jumped to their death. This led to changes in labor laws, building code, a whole list of laws changed after that. It also prompted the formation of the National Fire Protection Agency's Fire Life Code, NFPA 101. So it was very influential in New York City. The second fire occurred at the Coconut Grove nightclub. This happened on November 28, 1942. Now here's an example where, even though there were laws in place, they were broken. This building was designed to hold 1,000 people, and there's a report that over 2,000 people were in the building at the time. No sprinklers, but they weren't required at the time, and blocked exits. 492 people died. But the main law that came out of this was changes to building code concerning revolving doors. It's estimated approximately 200 people died because they got stuck either in or behind the revolving door. So most of you are familiar with a revolving door, but how many of you have ever noticed that there's always going to be a regular outward opening door on either side? This is building code throughout the United States now due to that fire. Also, the revolving door now, the door itself has to collapse if somebody or something gets stuck in it. If you push on it hard enough, it will collapse. So, the third fire I want to talk about, we're getting a little more recent now, happened in 1980. It was a new hotel built called the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. And in this fire, the builders spent $106 million of building the building, but they saved $192,000 by choosing not to sprinkle the first floor casino area, which is where the fire started. When all said and done, 84 people died and over 400 were injured. The resulting lawsuits cost over $213 million. So here's an example where they saved a little bit of money and it cost, you can't put a price on the loss of life, but monetarily it cost them way more than it could have ever saved. The last fire I want to talk about is the Station nightclub fire, which occurred on February 20th, 2003. Again, laws were broken. They were illegally using pyrotechnics for a concert. But the reason I mention this one is the reason I asked you if you knew how to get out of here if there was a fire. 100 people died in this fire and 230 were injured. But the alarming thing was that the investigation revealed that many of the people that died were very close to an exit and attempted to leave through the front door because that was the way they came in. So that's why I started with, do you know how you would get out? Anytime you go to a public building or an unfamiliar building, you should really scope out your exits. It could just save your life. Just one thing I want to mention is that all these laws are in commercial buildings or public buildings. There are no fire prevention laws governing 1 and 2 family homes at this time. We as American citizens value our privacy, and as far as I know, except when a house is sold, we have no right to enter or inspect the house. It's all voluntary. There is no requirement for sprinklers in most of the country. And again, using that example for the MGM Grand fire, the cost of putting a sprinkler in a new house will pay for itself in savings for homeowners insurance and just a peace of mind. So what we talked about today was basically what fire prevention is, how we do it, and just 4 fires that had dramatic losses of life that led to changes to make everybody safer. So in conclusion, what I hope everybody got out of this is that we always strive to make people safer. And unfortunately, some people have to lose their lives for change to happen. And in this day and age, you should always really be aware of your surroundings. It doesn't have to be fire anymore. The political climate right now, there's angry protesters and riots and active shooters and terrorists. So you really need to, be aware of your surroundings and know where your exits are and be safe. Thank you.